Okay, so real quickly, because I know I'm going to get asked this, I'm going to talk a little bit about why I like to use arpeggios or picking the guitar versus strumming it when I play. And again, keep in mind that the reason I do this, the reason I do everything that I do, is to create less work on myself and less practice. So the beauty of arpeggios or picking the notes off of the guitar versus strumming. So I'll give an example. Here's a D chord. There's my strum versus an arpeggio sort of motion. So the reason I like to do this is because if you're strumming, then you are strumming all six strings of the guitar, or potentially maybe less if you're not hitting, say, the top string, or deadening the bottom string or the top string or something like that. But in general, especially for easy playing, it's hard to avoid all six strings when you're strumming. So for certain chords that are hard to get your fingers in the right position for all six strings, it's really nice to play the arpeggio, or to pick certain notes out of it where your fingers are much easier in terms of making the chord formation. And now, what I mean by that is I'm going to give an example of the F chord here. So the dreaded F chord that everybody cringes when you're playing open chords, and then there's an F because it's awkward because if you're playing open chords versus bar chords, your little index finger here has to hold down two strings while your third and your fourth finger are holding down other strings. And it's just really difficult, especially for maybe just me. My fingers aren't flexible. I have small hands. It's really hard. So the F chord, the appropriate open chord formation, is to have your third finger on well, I should call it the fourth finger. We're going to count the thumb as the first finger. So your fourth finger on the third fret of the fourth string, and then your third finger on the second fret of the third string, and then your index finger, your second finger, is supposed to hold down on the first fret of the second string and the first fret of the first string. So if I'm strumming, there I kind of got it, but it tends to kind of deaden out as this finger gets tired when I'm playing. And it's hard to transition into that chord really easily too, just because of the awkwardness of it. So a modification that I like to play, and you can do this when you're picking or just playing an arpeggio pattern. You don't have to hold down the whole chord formation. You just need to hold down the strings in the appropriate chord foundation of the strings that you're playing. So for example, if I am playing an arpeggio using the fourth, third, and second string, there's my F chord right there. And all I'm doing to play that nice, and you see that this is not hard for me to play, and that's because I'm avoiding this first string, this bottom string down here, which causes that awkwardness when I'm playing an F, because I'm having to hold down the second string and the first string with my index finger when I'm playing the open chord the way it should be. But if I'm just playing arpeggios, I just use the index finger to hold down the second string, and it makes it much less awkward. So again, that arpeggio sounds like this. Versus the open chord, if I'm strumming and I need to use that index finger to hold down both the first and the second string, or my hand's getting tired. Arpeggios.